I'm Bobby, and here today I've got John Glanders from Avow, and he's going to talk with us about how we can support the community and what we can do to support Avow during this recent crisis. So, John?
Hi, yeah, thanks very much. It gives me a chance to give a little bit of a picture of what's going on at the moment. Something that we're all facing. Nobody's ever been in this position before, so we've got no booklet or anything to say what we should be doing, so things are obviously being designed as we go along. But Avow, as the County Voluntary Council, what we're trying to do is to coordinate volunteering wherever possible. We split it into two key elements really. We're supporting those people who are trying to do things on the ground at street level. These are the kind of things which have been developed on social media, by community councils, by local council members. There are lots of things happening in terms of developing good neighbourliness, and for this it could be anything from nipping to the shop, it could be going around doing some dog walking, just checking on somebody, just giving somebody a ring to say are they okay. So lots of things are going to be happening at that level, and we've been sending out some briefing information to give people some guidance on that. We're very clear, we don't want to make it red tape or bureaucratic, it's just simple guidance, and in no way are we looking to detract from what people are doing there. But we will be looking over the weekend, beginning of the week, to start coordinating some of the things that are going on, so people can put their details onto an interactive map, and then anybody who's looking for help in the community, whether it be individual residents or whether it be service providers looking for things in the community, they'll be able to click on the map and find out what's immediately in their area. The other most crucial volunteering recruitment we're doing is around recruiting a bank of volunteers who potentially can step in to support public services, whether it be health, care sector, or a variety of other roles. For this, we've been to Glendower, Colleague Cambria, and recruited a large number of students, and we're appealing now to the community to come forward to offer their help and their time to be able to support this type of work. We're particularly looking for people who might be drivers, might be able to help in care homes. There could be anything from catering to being involved with moving things around Wrexham if need be. But the roles will be very varied, and we do have a website, www.avow.org, where people can go onto that and sign up to become a volunteer on the bank, as well as other useful information.
About Avow, how long have you been established?
Yeah, we were established in the early 1980s. We're actually one of 19 county voluntary councils across Wales. Our normal role is around providing help to anybody who might be running organisations or setting organisations up. And then one of our key roles is still what we're doing at the moment, is recruiting volunteers and placing volunteers. But obviously the scale that we're talking about now is absolutely huge compared with what we would normally be dealing with. We are based in the middle of Wrexham, and that gives a really good opportunity for people to just drop in. But I must say that we're actually closing our office from Monday of next week. We will, and this is most crucial, Avow will still be operating 100%. We will be available, emails, on phones, etc., to ensure that the right help is available for the right people at the right time.
Basically, how are you going about recruiting your volunteers at the moment?
We're doing a lot of recruitment via social media, our existing contacts. We're also appealing to people who may find themselves their workplaces being closed down, but they're actually still in a position to come out and volunteer. Anybody at all who has got any particular skills previously with the care sector in particular, there is going to be a real need and a demand for people who have got skills there. We're also looking for people who have got DBS checks, because again, some roles we would be looking to place volunteers who have got DBSs. Currently, we also look at word of mouth, so that anybody who knows of anybody at all who feels they might be able to volunteer. This weekend, a lot of university students are probably going to be coming home. We're urging anybody in that category to sign up on our site so that they can actually be part of the bank, ready to actually be mobilised as and when required.
Okay, how would somebody reach out to you for help if they were in a circumstance where they felt that they needed some assistance? How would they go about that? Do they need to be referred, or can they get in touch with you directly?
Anybody wanting help, again, it will be on the website, there'll be details on there, but we know a lot of people won't have websites. At a local level, there are people via the community councils who are working on the ground, but they themselves have limited capacity. We're just urging everybody to keep an eye on all their neighbours as much as possible, so we can keep things at a street level, so that the big bank of volunteers can then be used for the main service support.
Okay, great. So obviously there's quite a few people at the moment who have formed groups on Facebook and the like, or local communities have come together. For those that haven't actually registered with you, what are the benefits to them, and what are the benefits of them doing that with you?
Any groups that are out there at the moment, we welcome the support and the initiatives that they've taken. It's been really great that people in communities are coming together to take on some of these roles. What we are saying is that on our website there's the guidance sheet, which gives some brief details around some of the things people could be thinking about if they're trying to do the support, things that they could be doing in their own community to help and support people. We'll also be looking to identify if there are parts of Wrexham that don't have that kind of street level support, because that potentially is where there's going to be lots of vulnerable people that we need to ensure they're not left behind with anything.
Okay, how are you able to kind of match up your volunteers to those who do need your services? How are you kind of getting that compatibility match?
The matching at the moment is starting on a postcode basis, where if we're getting requests for volunteering, what we're then doing, we're then looking at what we've got on the database, what we've got in terms of postcode from the volunteers, postcodes of where the demand is, and we'll do the matching that way. So we do have systems in place for doing that.
Okay, and how are you supporting the groups that are out there already? What kind of background support can you offer for them?
Again, if any organisations that are still carrying on functioning, providing any support at all, they can equally come to us and look for volunteers to help probably or boost the number of volunteers that they already have. We do acknowledge though that potentially there could be about 30% of volunteers and workers at any one time that are being isolated, so we need to be able to move quickly to fill some of those gaps as and when they arise.
Okay, and obviously you will have quite a large influx of volunteers at the moment, so what are you doing about safeguarding in those kind of circumstances?
As far as the volunteers coming forward at the moment, they're on the bank. We're sending them all automated messages which tell them that they may not be immediately required, but we're sending them the messages so that they know that we are actually engaging and that the site is live. As far as safeguarding is concerned, DBSs, will be looking in some instances where a DBS is appropriate. That's the disclosure and barring. But where there is insufficient people with DBSs, what we'll be looking to do is to buddy up people to be able to do some kind of support. It's around taking a measured risk assessment on issues that might arise, and then by at least doubling people up, that would hopefully reduce some of the risks that are there.
Yeah, okay. So what kind of roles out there would be available for those without enhanced disclosure?
Anybody without DBSs, it could be anything from assisting people with dog walking, it could be around transporting materials or equipment from place to place. They could be asked to support with catering in some places that they've got catering skills. Some of the things that we know that are happening at community level is that some groups are actually looking to set up the making of meals collectively, and then do the old-fashioned Meals on Wheel delivery to people who are vulnerable. So we know that we can't actually bring people together because of the need to keep people apart. But wherever possible, those people, for instance, who used to go to lunch clubs, hopefully each community will be able to fulfil that need by actually doing some central catering.
Okay, brilliant. But not all your volunteers need a car. What if somebody wanted to volunteer and they had children or other dependents? Is there a set amount of hours that they have to do, or any kind of criteria they have to meet, or can they just volunteer as and when it suits them?
They'll be able to volunteer as and when that they feel that they're able to.
Okay.
As far as childcare, we're actually waiting at the moment on the government announcement over childcare provisions. So they've started with healthcare workers and care workers. The full detail of how far that goes down is due to be released very, very soon. So, for instance, shop workers, it's crucial that we maintain a food chain. So they've got a significant role to be playing. We've got lots of other roles which third sector people do, either in a paid capacity or volunteering, particularly those that will be called upon to do backup on some of the service provision. So we are hoping that there is a full recognition of that by both the Westminster Government and Welsh Government in regard to acknowledging the key role that volunteers will be doing over this particular time.
Okay. Is there anything that those isolating at home can do to support the voluntary efforts as well?
Yeah, there will be potential opportunities for some people to act as an answer phone service if need be, so that they can actually then be looking to answer on behalf of other organisations to boost the capacity for that particular group. Fielding and filtering inquiries is one particular thing that they could do. Clearly that's something anybody of any age would be able to carry that out. The other types of things that they might be able to do is just ring round on a befriending basis.
Okay.
At this time of crisis, one of the things we need to acknowledge is people's personal well-being is absolutely crucial. If people are isolated for a long period of time, not making contact or very little contact with people, that will play a significant impact on their mental health. So we are urging people at street level as well as wider areas to be able to engage and speak with people. A phone call is one of the most easy ways in which you can actually warm somebody's heart. That is my philosophy on things. It's not about, sometimes it's not about food, it's sometimes about contact. So it is important that we acknowledge that need and people's mental health, and we also need to acknowledge the mental health for those workers as well, who are going to be out in the field doing different roles, and the impact that that could have on families.
Okay, yeah, lovely. Is there a upper or lower age limit to become a volunteer?
No, the normal circumstances we'd normally be saying volunteers from 16 upwards.
Okay.
There are clearly going to be limits on people at the higher age range in terms of being able to engage externally. So at this stage it will be around, if people want to volunteer, if an opportunity can arise, then fine, we'll match them. But we just hope that people realise that in some instances there might not be an opportunity for them. We welcome the fact that they've registered, but we need to take into account what opportunities will arise and do that. The principle is around having the right people in the right place at the right time. If we can get that sorted, then we're halfway to actually putting the right support in that we need.
Okay, of course. Can you offer any kind of support to other organisations at this time, especially things such like charities or social enterprises?
Yeah, we can provide some support, mainly at this stage through the volunteering side of things, and trying to identify if they need any particular volunteers. We're still waiting to hear currently with regard to if there's any additional funding going to be coming into the overall charity sector. Clearly there are lots of pressures that are taking place, lots of financial pressures and additional costs that people are going to actually require to bear. Some of the things that we're looking at the moment is identifying funding for those people who use their car to be able to at least pay them something towards their fuel that they're actually using. Again, though, it's uncharted territory. To create funds is not that easy, but we do need to be thinking outside of the box in order that we can actually get some new thinking around dealing with these issues. The other thing that we will be appealing for, or people at the food bank in particular, is please, please, please don't forget, if you can, is to carry on making donations to the food bank. They are absolutely desperate at the moment for replenishment of supplies, and we've got more people now potentially needing food bank because they might have been self-employed, they were in employment which has ceased. There are lots of people out there that had got job roles and their whole lives have been turned upside down, so there is some real need for people, if they can, to be able to carry on donating.
Okay, yeah. Is there any way that Avow can help support local and independent businesses at this time?
Yeah, I think some of the real difficulties there are around what kind of things they can be offering. I know some businesses have moved away from food in restaurants and things like that. They're developing mobile food, they're doing food deliveries, all of these types of things. It would be very useful if we actually knew who was actually doing that type of thing, so we could coordinate it, so that if anybody does actually feel that they want to provide things like that, things like the taxis, potentially there could be a need for transporting of key staff in a number of locations if their transport goes down, if they don't have their own car, or if their driver, whoever their driver is isolating. So there would be lots of issues there where potential taxi drivers could pick up. There is, I suppose, the shops and the retail outlets. Obviously, we all know about the problems in the supermarket at the moment and volumes, and the fact that lots of people are stockpiling. And at that level, certainly at community level, it will be around trying to support all your local businesses the most you can, because they're going to be going through a tremendous amount of economic pressure. Lots of people will be losing contracts, lots of people will be losing jobs, and having to adapt in a wide variety of ways.
Yeah. Do you have any kind of business advisors or charities under your kind of umbrella in all your kind of organisations?
In Wrexham, from the business sector point of view, I would suggest that they actually go to get in touch with Business Wales. They're providing some of the support, and I think they're doing the guidance on the kind of business hardship funds and all that kind of thing. So there are Welsh Government departments that are dealing with that specifically around the support available. In particular, I think where you've got self-employed people who are losing their work, one of the key things that they need to be doing is identifying with DWP if there are any financial benefits, support that can be provided.
So what is the best way for people to donate to the food banks? What would you suggest?
Most of the supermarkets have got collection points, and I think at this stage it's very much looking where they are. When people are actually buying the food, just please try and find somewhere where you can actually drop that food off. It's important that supply chain keeps coming through.
Yeah, of course, yes. And is there anything else that you feel we haven't covered today that you would like to get out there, that you'd like people to know?
Some of the things that people perhaps need to think about is that we could be heading into a 12-week holiday. Children and families have never had a 12-week holiday. We acknowledge that there will be lots of frustrated children not being able to perhaps go out and play as much,